you at?
I don't know, bro. He can bite me. Well, he asked me. What he do? He ain't do that. Oh my God! He biting him. He biting his ass.
Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, glory, and fear to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem HaKodash. Also, I want to give double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us his truth, and peace and salutations to the Lord's hopeful elect, back at it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. So, yeah, you saw the little clip. Nothing much to it, man. First and foremost, man, you see our people are out of order. I can't really speak on it because I don't know what the situation, what's going on. But you can tell they seem like some relatively young Israelites, and they just don't know how to conduct themselves. But that's why Yahweh Bahashem Awashai set up teachers and prophets, man, to teach our people how to conduct themselves in all of these situations, how to conduct ourselves amongst one another, and how to deal with these other nations that oppress us, man. All right, so that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. The whole point of this epistle is about that dog biting that officer. All right, and I did an epistle about the same thing maybe a couple years ago, man. Same thing happened, man. The police dog ended up attacking the officer, man. Like, I don't know why the officer, it didn't look like, again, the dude did anything to warrant being flipped over like that. But hey, man, that's the spirit, man, that we have to look forward to, dealing with Yahweh Ba'Shem Al-Shah, or should I say Yahweh Ba'Shem Al-Shah dealing with us during Jacob's trouble, because these things are going to become issues. Dogs, robot dogs, drones, the spirit that the Lord is going to put on people, and we want to make sure that we're in good graces with Yahweh Ba'Shem Al-Shah, and the same thing will happen during that day. They send police dogs at us or whatever, attack dogs or drones or whatever, and it'll turn on them, man. And that's the whole point of the epistle, man. So don't trust in carnality, trust in Yahweh Bahashem Mahawashah, because we do know the Lord controls all things. This is Deuteronomy 32 and 39. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. So that dog, he didn't bite him too hard, but it was the other video that I seen a while back. The dog did get him pretty good, man. But the whole point is the Lord is saying he's the one that wounds. So if that dog bites you or the other guy, it is the Lord that created that wound from that dog, man. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So when the Lord say it's your time to be judged, it's your time to get dealt with, there's nothing that anybody can do, man. Once the Lord has put it in motion, if the Lord say, put the spirit on the dog to attack you, and you're the owner, and then that's what's gonna happen. Same thing goes for our people, especially our women that have these big ass Rottweilers and pit bulls in their homes and don't want to have the protection of a man or Yahweh Bahashem Mahawashah, want to remain in that single independent woman spirit, but have these big ass dogs. It'll be the same thing during Jacob's trouble for them too. They think they got somebody on their side, and they think Cujo is going to be there to protect them, but hey, in that day it's going to be a lot of issues. A famine will be on the rise, so the dog is going to be hungry. You're going to be hungry as well, that you might eat the dog or the dog might eat you, man. All right, either way, man, it's going to be a problem, man, if you're not serving and coming in the fear of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All right, what the hell is this? All right, this is 2 Corinthians 10 and verse 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh by Shema Shai to the pulling down of strongholds, man. And that's what we're dealing with, man. Spiritual warfare. So when Esau comes in during Jacob's trouble like a madman sparing none, and he uses his carnal weapons, whatever they may be, we understand again, for the weapons of our warfare, and this is a spiritual war, are not carnal. So we're not going to lean towards carnality and trust in the sword or trust in the alarm system or dog or things like that. We got to trust in the power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah, and remember what was taught unto us, that the Lord is in control of all these things, both the good, the bad, the evil, all right, who wounds, who heals, who gets wounds, who gets healed, man. We have to remember who's in charge of that. Yahweh Bahashim Hawashah. And that's how we're going through this process now to learn how the Lord deals with us, man. Fasting, praying, being amongst, brothers and sisters, man, and hearing their testimonies, trials and tribulations, man. And we're learning how the Lord is dealing with us, man. So when we get ready to go through this big test that we're getting ready to go through, Jacob's trouble, not taking that mark of the beast, we'll be ready. All right. And there's things that we do in relation to our warfare that's not carnal, spiritual. Praying and fasting, being taking rebuke, and just being constantly in that holy conversation, man, and not being in a conversation of mirth, of folly, and filthiness, man, which shit everybody else is. That's the spirit that they're coming in, man. If they're not coming in the spirit of serving and fearing Yahweh Shema Hawashah, what are they talking about, man? So we should always be, talking about goodly, holy things as much as possible. Let's see what we got. The book of Luke. Watch ye therefore and pray always, in relation to that, our weapons of our spiritual warfare, not carnal. All right. These are the tools or the weapons of our warfare, being able to pray. So we're supposed to be watching and praying always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. So we're watching and we're praying to be accounted worthy to escape a attack dog, a robot dog, a drone, a famine, a drought. All right, all these things, man, pestilences. We're prophesying these things, starting with, the prophets of old, Malak Yahawashai, all right, and the prophets that came, after, all right, about Jacob's trouble, the great tribulation, how there's going to be earthquakes in diverse places, famines, and, persecution. All these things are coming, but we need to be watching and conducting ourselves in a proper behavior, all right, preparing for a time known as Jacob's trouble, preparing for a time like this earth has never seen before, and Lord willing, Yahweh Bahashim Awashah will be with us, man. So again, watching and praying, we got to actually be watching, and that's the beauty of the brotherhood or the prophets, because it's damn near impossible, man, to be up on every single thing that's happening throughout the entire earth, man. But that's why there's different brothers prophesying in part. All right, brothers see this, brothers see that, and you can learn what's going on in different areas of the earth, man, via the brothers, man. So that's a part of watching, not just watching for yourself or watching yourself, but indulging or participating in that holy convocation, all right, being amongst that brotherhood, man, listening to the epistles, and it keeps you in the spirit, man. And Yahweh Shema shall know if we need to be in the spirit right now, man, because this is a very, very vexing, confusing time, and it's only going to get worse that we find ourselves to be in right now. But again, watching and praying go hand in hand, all right. C3, book of Jeremiah. Jera. All right, this is Jeremiah 30 and verse 7. And it reads, Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So there it is, man. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. This time called Jacob's trouble, but Jacob, the Israelites, the remnant thereof, all right, is the only ones that's going to be saved out of it. So going back to the attack dog, man, these are things that's going to be happening during this time like the earth has never seen before. All these events, the Lord taught us that the animals would change their places. So we see that if we're watching, the bears are climbing up all type of shit. They're just climbing shit, opening doors left and right like it's their shit. All right, how much more when the famine hits this place and the Lord puts the spirit on all these other animals, to change their places and come out of the woods and the deserts, man, and to invade and inhabit these cities. All right, this is all things that's going to be happening during Jacob's trouble. But again, that remnant or that hopeful elect that's crying and sighing, to the best of their ability, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, Lord willing, the Lord is going to protect these individuals, man, and their households, and during this time known as Jacob's trouble. So we just have to remember that, meditate on that, and remember again who is in charge. Yahweh Bashim Hawashah is the one that's going to bring this great tribulation. All right, we just got to make sure we're on the right hand side of it. It's going to get rough. We're going to go through. All right, because Yahweh taught us this. It's going to get rough. The servant is not greater than the master. All right. So look at what Yahweh had to go through. Look at what the other prophets had to go through. Look at what the nation of Israel had to go through. Not really talking about the wicked, but even when brothers and sisters was, striving to be righteous, the Lord always, tested them and chastened them, man. So we just gotta, prepare our minds for that, and don't be changing the words that's written in the book just because it sounds, intense, man, and scary. It is going to be scary, man. But again, the Lord didn't give us a spirit of fear. All right. And we don't have no faith in our own strength, man. The faith that we have is in the strength of Yahweh Bahashem and Yahweh Shah. And we're going to keep on teaching that until the Lord, puts the spirit on us to not speak anymore. And that's that famine of the word that's right around the corner as well, man. So it will behoove you, all right, to get this truth, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding now before it's too late. And the Lord brings that great tribulation and that the famine of food and the famine of hearing the word, man. All right. 3, 4. And we'll leave it at this. Book of John 14 and verse 15, straight to the point. If you love me, keep my commandments. And we always say to the best of our ability. That doesn't give you liberty to sin. We say to the best of our ability because we're wise enough to understand that we can't keep the law perfectly. There's just certain things that we just can't do, or we're just unaware of, like, eating abominable things, how Esau Edom hides pork or other abominable animals and shit in food products and label it as something else with a different type of name, shit like that. That's why we can't keep the law perfectly. But you got to acknowledge it, that the law is there and it is meant to be obeyed. All right. And you keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. If you love Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, and hopefully you doing that. All right. It's definitely going to manifest other type of behaviors. All right. If you're a man, all right, and you're probably going to end up on the highways and byways, man, if you're not a helper of the prophets. All right. Or if you're a woman, there's going to be things that you're going to do in relation to keeping the commandments, man. And you're going to start to, change and come out of this, filthiness, which is this earth, which are these defiled bodies. All right. And Lord willing, man, the Lord ultimately, eventually, here pretty soon, Lord willing, will restore us and give us those new glorified bodies, likened unto the one that Yahweh Shah has, likened unto the one that Yahweh has. All right. Those glorified, perfect bodies that's not subject to going off and are just absolutely perfect, completely beautiful, some of the most beautiful, creations, that the Lord has came up with. And that's something to look forward to, man. So we just got to remember that it's going to get real, but that's a beautiful thing seeing that, man. And that, them dudes was out there acting a fool. How much more the Lord's remnant, all right, out there doing what's commanded to them when they come in like an enemy, sparing none. How much more will the Lord put the spirit on the enemy's weapons to be against them? All right. And that's the whole point. The enemy's going to come with all this, different techniques and tactics and shit and different weapons and, this and that. And they might try to drug you up with all LSD. Like, ain't no telling what's going on. Brothers have had, visions of brothers and people getting tortured, and ain't no telling what they're going to do in them places, man. But we got to prepare ourselves for that. And it starts now with keeping the commandments. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, glory, and fear to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah. Till next time, Shalom.